Hi everybody. I just want to go over a couple of things with you. So by now many of you have gone through chapters 1 and 2 and possibly 3, and you notice that with those chapters they were basically a review of basic mathematical concepts. But we're skipping chapter 4 for now. As I mentioned in the module, we will go back to banking at a later date. But right now I'm going to take you into chapter 5 because that's the next area we're going to work on in the next module, chapters 5 and 6. So with chapter 5, we're starting to get into the word problems and solving for the unknown via equations and then in word problem format. And the concern I have is some of you have what I call math anxiety, and as soon as you see word problems, some of you say, oh, I can't do it, but you can. So what I want to show you is how your interactive ebook works. Like you do have the print copy that they gave you actually for free with your code, but I want you to take advantage of the eText as well. So when you go to any of the links in the modules that I gave you under graded assignments for the Learn Smart Achieve, you have access to your smart book. But you can also just go to the library and leave the smart book, go to your library, and have access to the full eText that way as well. So let me show you what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go over here to the book contents, and I'm going to start with chapter 5. So again, 1, 2, and 3, many of you have worked through, did pretty well, had very, I saw that you guys had minimal problems based on your scores. And we're skipping 4 for now, and we're going to go over to 5. So when you go over to chapter 5, you're going to notice that you have this section here, reading, video, and images. And the videos are what I want to make sure that you are aware of how to use those. So when you log into Connect, you might have seen that you want to make sure, it tells you, make sure that your computer is Connect ready. And one of the main things is you have to make sure you enable Flash. So I tried to access some videos earlier and I was having trouble, and I changed my browser. For Mozilla, it wasn't working, and I went over to Chrome and everything worked fine. And I am on a school, the college provided this laptop for me because it has some software that I need, so I'm limited on what I can do as far as adding things. So again, when I went into Google Chrome, everything worked well. So just change your browser, don't use Internet Explorer. But just change your browser if the videos aren't working. Make sure you have Flash, and you should have minimal problems. If you have problems, I'll give you a tech support number, and you call them, and they can help you as well. So now I'm in chapter 5, and what I want to show you is notice what I have here, the introduction, the learning objective or learning unit 5.1, 5.2, and ending. And I want to make sure that you understand what these areas contain. So let's proceed. I'm going to go over to 5.1. Now you're going to see in 5.1 that you'll have this little letter here, and you might want to read it. And here, actually, to be honest with you, I didn't even realize that they had the word math anxiety in there. And again, it's definitely something that some people have. So no worries. I'll tell you right now that one of the reasons why I use this author is he's really pretty cool as to getting down to the level of the learner, which is my philosophy. So you're going to see here, you're going to see like chunks of information. He'll throw cartoons in there. He'll throw tips and tricks in there. Make sure you read all the little boxes because it will provide valuable learning content, like little things that you might not have thought of, different ways to approach problems. The other thing too is he gives you a lot of practice before he actually has you do a quiz. So again, make sure that you look at this and you read every little area. Now, some of you will spend more time than others on a given section, depending on your background and your level of knowledge coming into this class. So if you go through this and say, oh, I think I understand this, I'm going to take it down to the practice quiz in a minute and show you that you could just skip all this, read through it quickly and just do the practice quiz. But for those of you that are not as comfortable with this content material, definitely read, and if you have to, read again. So you're going to see here, he'll give you several drills. Here's an example, here's mechanical steps, and here's an explanation. For example, if we want to know Dick's age 8 years from now, we want to put that in word problem format. We use the letter A for age, but we could have used any variable. We're going to say A for age. 8 years from now is in the future, so that's where the plus 8 comes from, equals 58. So you're going to say, well, obviously he's 50. Yeah, I get that, but we want to put it in the equation form. So we want to say a plus 8 equals 58, and then here's the mechanics. We want to solve for the unknown, which is a for the age. So we add it by 8. Now we're going to subtract what we do on one side, we do on the other. A equals 50. 50 plus 8, here's our proof. Always do a logic check, because 9.999 times out of 10, you're going to know if you have the answer correctly just by doing a logic check. So 50 plus 8 is 58. Everything balances out. Same thing with this one. We subtracted 50 here. We're solving for the unknown, which is b. So now to solve for the unknown, we have to do the opposite of what we did here. So we subtracted 50. Now we're going to add what we do to one side, we do to the other. Here we are. There's the mechanics. There's our check. Everything works out well. So you see how in each case, he gives you an example. There's an addition. There's a subtraction. Here's a multiplication. Now the opposite of multiplication is division. So we multiply by 7. Now we're going to divide. What we do to one side, we do to the other. Again, shown here in the mechanics. There's our check. Everything worked out well. Now here's another situation where we divide it. So the opposite is multiplication. So now we multiply by 5 on either side. And what we do to one side, we do to the other. There's our check. Everything worked well. So again, pretty easy, right? No different than when we put that in word problem format in the next learning unit. But you want to get these mechanics down before you apply to the word problems. So we're going to go through here. There's the parenthesis rules, and then you'll see there 5p minus 4 equals 20. 5p minus 20 equals 20. Again, there's the mechanics, there's the explanation. So nothing to memorize here. The more you do, the more proficient you'll be. So practice, practice, practice makes perfect. And I love this. There's the money tips. Go through that. 9 out of 10 customers who ask for a discount on items such as electronics, appliances, furniture, and medical bills receive one. Just ask. You could be saving money. Do it all the time, guys. It really does work. So again, here's more examples. And this is what he's just reiterating what I said before. Oh, sorry about that. I didn't mean to click on that link. But he's just reiterating what I said before, in that you need to do a logic check. Okay, it's moving me ahead here. I'm just going to go back a minute. Obviously, I'm doing this live, but it's all good. So just make sure that you do your logic check. This is what I clicked on before. So anyway, you see here, and what he's telling you to do, just make sure you reread the problem to see if the answer makes sense. So like if we go back earlier to the 50 plus 8, which is 58. So if he's 50 now and we got like 48 as our answer, 8 years from now, we'd be like, no, how could it be 48? So obviously, or maybe you subtracted and got 42. So you're saying, well, how could it be 42? Then you know you did something wrong. So how could he be 42 8 years from now if he's 50 now, right? So that's what we're talking about. And I just gave you a real basic example. But obviously, it really does. That extra second of proofing can save you precious points when it comes time to taking your quiz. So speaking of quizzes, he gives you, I always refer to the author, Jeff Slater, because he's the one I've worked with. He's been great through the years and giving me some tips to, help you guys. And I give him some tips as well. But anyway, so here's a practice quiz. So you're going to see here, he gives you the quiz. You take it. And then guess what? You have a self-check. So you don't have to submit it to me, wait till I grade it. All that takes time. Valuable, precious time. And there's a lot of you in the class, so it would take me hours. But look at this. You get your immediate feedback. But what I also love here is you get your video. So you click on that video and you listen to it, and he'll take you step by step. Do you need the video? Well, it's going to be an individual thing. If you got all of the answers correct, you knew what you were doing, you really don't need to do the videos. But and they're also available on YouTube, as he tells you here. But if you struggled with 1, 2, or any one of these here, All you do is go to the video, and it's like me, except it's Jeff, talking to you, explaining to you exactly how to solve the problem. So how cool is that? So again, you don't get this in a flat print book. This is all interactive. That's why I want you to get used to using this eText. Here's Learning Unit 5.1. This is more practice. So hey, I had a little trouble with that practice quiz. I thought I knew more than I did. I struggled a little bit. Well, now you're going to go on to here. Then you can check your answers. Here's the appendix where the answers are. So you don't have the solutions embedded right in here as the other, but he takes you out with the link to the next section. Again, spend as much time as needed. If you're good, then obviously you don't have to spend as much time as someone who doesn't understand. I'm not going to see, I'm not really as concerned how much time, the amount of time. It's the quality of time. And I'll know by, when you actually take your quizzes. So again, get to know your eText. Go over here now to 5.2, same procedure. I'm done with 5.1. I'm comfortable. I did really well. I'm going to go over here. He does some really cool stuff. He has some really cool illustrations here. Some blueprints. The blueprints are really helpful. You might or might not use them. In my traditional class, some students found that they helped. Others just didn't even bother setting them up. But again, I totally recommend you trying the blueprint, especially if you're a little anxious about math. I think it's really cool. Money tips, love money tips. So make sure you read those. Okay, so now I'm done going through that. I think I've got it. I'm going to go over to the practice quiz. I'm going to do the questions. I'm going to self-check. He does them in blueprint format. There's the mechanical steps right here. You just go in and you look and you see everything. And then you say, oh, okay, I think I didn't know as much as I thought. So you might want to go back and do it again or view the video. When all is done, if you feel you need more practice, 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 practice. The more you do, and that goes for any mathematically based class. Tell accounting students all the time, the more practice you do, the better you will be. And here you go. Here's more, and then there are the answers. So kind of get the idea how the learning, and this is the same for every chapter. But let's go to the ending now. And this is what I don't want you to miss. So see the interactive chapter organizer? So you see here, and if you click on it, it will take you back to the situations. Here's your mechanical steps. Here's your key point. Notice these are all live links. And here's the you try it. So you can go in and you can play around. And this gives you an overview. Now, for those of you who are comfortable with the chapter, here's a tip. Just go here. Go to the end and play around with this. And if you get all of these, hey, then that means you're cool. So there's more that you can work with. There's your check. Oh, these are the check your figures. Remember it said Appendix B? Well, here you go. And then there's some critical thinking, which you don't have to worry about. Like whenever we're going to be dealing with these, I'll give them to you in Canvas. And then there's your end of chapter problems. So what happens here is you have the print text along with the eText. Well, at the end of every chapter, you're going to see more problems. And these are the answers. And you're going to see the drill problems, right? And they give you the answers. So again, pretty cool. Give you lots and lots of word problems, more practice. And again, do you have to do them all? It's up to you. They even show you Excel, which is good for you to know. So I recommend that you go through that as well. So again, the amount of time that you're going to spend on these problems will depend on you and your comfort level. But you see here how we have word problems, and this is all related to 5-2. So it's the drill problems that you saw here, but in word problem form. You're going to end up at the end of the day, you're going to end up at the same place. It's just what I say, a different route on the GPS. One being drill problems, the other being word problem format. You want to concentrate on word problems because the majority of problems I will give you will be word problems. I want you to be able to decipher. How do I dissect the word problem? How do I set this up in proper format to get the proper solution? So again, drill problems are good, but if time is of the essence and you don't have a whole lot of time, I'm going to tell you concentrate on word problems. Again, Do as many as you feel necessary. It's an individual thing. If you really want to even challenge yourself more, go ahead and do the challenge problems. And then there's the summary practice test. I highly recommend you do those. Again, the nice thing about these, the videos that go along with them, really cool. Also at the end, you're going to see a surf to save. That's all for you to look at. If there's anything I want you to do with that, I will put that in Canvas. At this point, we don't have to worry about that. They've got the mobile apps that some of you, I'm not assuming that everybody is connected via a mobile device, but if you are and you're interested in any of the tips that they have for mobile devices, go ahead and use those. They're really cool apps that they have, but again, nothing required because I'm not assuming that everybody's connected with the mobile device. And last but not least, you're going to see a Kiplinger approach. Really cool. So this is really cool, good information that you can use for your personal life. Like this one here talks about cash out your lease, and it talks about a contract, and it talks about the leases and how they work. And a lot of people do leasing. So again, it might be something that that would be relevant to you. So I suggest that you read it. In some chapters, I will require that we do a discussion on the Kiplinger approach piece, but for this particular chapter, I'm not going to. So again, it's something that you might find valuable to you and to your personal life. So again, this kind of gives you an overview of how you should work through each chapter as you're using the interactive eText. So if you have any questions, you need any help, just email me via Canvas. And you can also, meet with me. I'm on campus on Tuesdays and Thursdays. On Tuesdays, I have office hours at noon. So if you email me, we can set up an appointment. And we can always do a virtual meeting as well. I'm available usually 7 days a week. Okay, guys, I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. And I'm looking forward to working with you. Take care. Bye-bye.